Hello and welcome to Care Conversations on the Chasing Care podcast, your weekly dive into options and innovations shaping the way we care for ourselves and our loved ones. I'm Gavin Chase, host of the Chasing Care podcast, and today I'll be talking about a growing alternative to traditional care homes and visiting carers, something that's changing how families think about care, and that's live-in care. If you've been looking into care options for an elderly parent or a vulnerable family member, you've probably come across the big two: care homes or domiciliary care, where a carer drops in for short visits throughout the day. But here's the thing. What if your loved one doesn't want to leave their own home? It's a comfortable place, they're used to it. What if those brief visits just don't seem to offer enough support? That's where live-in care steps in. It's still a relatively new service, but it's quickly becoming a serious contender. And in the next 10 minutes, I'll give a quick introduction to what it's all about and why it might be the right solution for somebody you love. Let's get into it. What is live-in care? I mean, exactly, what is live-in care? Well, as the name suggests, it's a care service where a professional caregiver moves into the home of the person receiving care. Unlike domiciliary care, where carers pop in a few times a day to help with meals, medication, or hygiene, a live-in carer provides around-the-clock support. This means they're always on hand, whether it's helping with personal care, cooking meals, doing light housework, or simply being there for companionship. The idea is to support somebody to live as independently as possible while keeping them safe and comfortable in their own home. So why is live-in care different? This is where things get interesting. We've grown so used to the idea that care homes are the natural next step when somebody can't manage on their own, but live-in care offers a very different experience. Instead of uprooting somebody from their familiar surroundings, they stay right where they're happiest, in their own home. And instead of having to adapt to the routines and rules of a care facility, the care plan is personalised to fit their lifestyle. Another big difference is continuity of care. With live-in care, the individual works closely with just one or two carers rather than having to meet a rotating roster of staff. That's common in most care homes. This kind of consistency really helps to build trust and a meaningful personal relationship. Who can benefit from live-in care? I mean, who exactly is live-in care designed for? It's ideal for a wide range of situations. If you've got an elderly person, maybe a parent who wants to stay in their own home but needs support with daily tasks, or somebody recovering from surgery who requires full-time care, live-in care could be the perfect fit. It's also a brilliant solution for individuals with progressive conditions like dementia or Parkinson's, where routines, familiar surroundings are absolutely essential. For many families, live-in care offers peace of mind. Knowing somebody is always on hand, day or night, makes a huge difference. That said, it's not only for seniors. Younger adults with physical disabilities or chronic illnesses who need 24/7 support can also benefit from this option. Let's look at the human element, more than just care. What really sets live-in care apart is that human connection. When somebody moves into your home to care for you or a loved one, they're not just a caregiver. They often become a companion and friend. The emotional benefit of that relationship can't be overstated, especially for somebody living or feeling alone and isolated. With visiting care, there's only so much connection you can build in, let's say, a 30-minute or a 1 hour long visit. But with live-in care, the caregiver and the person receiving care can get to know each other over time, which can dramatically improve well-being. You might be thinking, it sounds great, but why haven't I heard of it? Well, it's true, live-in care is still emerging as a mainstream option. Care homes have been around for decades, and domiciliary care is well established in the UK and beyond. Live-in care, however, is just really starting to gain momentum, but with a growing desire for personalised care and people's preference to remain in their own home as they age, it's becoming a serious alternative. Families who have tried live-in care often say it's a revelation. They wonder why they hadn't considered it sooner. But like any service, it takes time to become widely recognised. I bet you're thinking, how does it compare financially? So let's talk about cost. There's no sugarcoating it. It's a significant financial investment. However, compared with care home fees, the difference isn't always as big as people might think. In some cases, the costs are indeed comparable, particularly for couples who would otherwise have to pay for two places in a care home. And remember, the value of keeping somebody in their home where they feel safe, where it's a familiar environment, and they're happy is priceless. With live-in care, you're not paying just for support, you're investing in a quality of life. So, what is the future of care? It's clear that live-in care is now more than a trend. It's a glimpse into the future of care. With people living longer and wanting more control over how and where they're cared for, live-in care offers the perfect blend of independence and support. It's no longer about a one-size-fits-all solution. It's about finding a solution that fits the individual. And that's exactly where live-in care steps in. So have I sparked your interest? I've got a challenge for you. Now I've introduced you to live-in care. If you or somebody you know is considering care options, perhaps take some time to research the live-in care sector. Look at providers in your area. See what families and individuals have to say about their experiences with live-in care. And most importantly, don't be afraid to have a conversation about it. If you're unsure where to start, I personally can recommend reaching out to a quality care advisor. They're experts who can walk you through your options, answer your questions, and help you figure out if live-in care is the right fit for your situation. It's worth a chat, even if it's just to explore what's out there. That wraps up today's episode of Care Conversations on the Chasing Care podcast. I hope this quick introduction to live-in care has given you some food for thought. If you found it helpful, please share it with somebody who might need it. You never know who might be struggling with care decisions and just waiting to hear about an option that they haven't considered. Until next time, I'm Gavin Chase. Thanks for listening and take care of each other.